For every stage in my life, I can associate a library with it. So from the time when I was little and my parents would take me every week to go to the library, and we would fill up these huge canvas boat bags with library books, as many as I could fit in there I could check out, to in college when I broke my leg and what stayed on campus all day instead of being able to go home, and I would curl up in the Great Books room, and that's where I first read Gone with the Wind and just Great Expectations and all these wonderful, wonderful books. My love of reading was absolutely fostered by libraries and librarians. Certainly librarians who read aloud when I would go to story times, and librarians who would hand me books. So there were librarians who handed me Edward Eger and E. Nesbit and Laura Ingalls Wilder and just made this huge difference in my life because of the books they gave me. Dottie Kraft, who was my elementary school librarian, who read The Snark Out Boys and the Avocado of Death out loud to my 5th grade class by Daniel Pinkwater, great book. My high school librarians, Mrs. Myers and Mrs. Viola, who lent me books that were do not circulate so that I could use them for an ornithology project on which I got an A. I don't think I could choose a favorite librarian because all of them have just been so wonderful to me. You know, it's funny that a lot of people talk about how books are dead and reading is dead and information is free, so we don't need anybody to curate it. And one of the nice things about having the Weird Sisters published is that I have gotten so many emails that absolutely belie that. I get these emails saying reading means so much to me, books mean so much to me, and I completely agree. I think that what libraries do by being a community space to promote literacy, to teach people how to manage information. Information may be free, but knowledge about how to gather that information and what information is credible is not free. And I really feel like libraries and librarians are vital for that. I was lucky to be raised by parents who believed that books and reading were the most important thing that we could do. And I remember at one point my sister had, in 6th grade, had a copy of Judy Blume's Forever. And the principal at the school took it away from her and called my parents, and my parents came in and they said, you know, it's our decision, you know, to what our child is going to read. And I think that not only is it a family decision as to what a child is going to read or what anybody's going to read, but I think that it's a responsibility, and that, you know, we need to be involved in what our families are doing and what they're reading and be having conversations about it. What better thing is there to do than to have a conversation about a book, controversial or not? And that's really how I'd like to see things. Oh my goodness, the library was vital when I was researching the Weird Sisters because there were so many topics I had to research. I had to research Shakespeare, I had to research birth order, I had to research communication. I had to research libraries, and so there were all these things that I needed to know, and I needed people to help me find the resources, especially if they weren't owned by the library, to do interlibrary loan, and librarians were just hugely, hugely valuable in that. So I use the library all the time for pleasure and for research, and I'm so thankful to the librarians who help me find information so I don't embarrass myself in public. I'm very superstitious about talking about what I'm working on. I'll tell you this much. It's another family story similar to the Weird Sisters. And this one is a little bit more about love and marriage and divorce, but I like books about people. I think people are fascinating, and so I hope I always write about people who get lost and then find their way again.